So they call themselves screenagers.
Freenagers?
Screen
Oh,
cell phone
because they're always looking at them.
because they're constantly.
Yeah,
They are. These are kids
it's
who,
the new heroin.
and I've said it is the new heroin, 100%. I've had kids, and I think everybody in the world is dealing with this right now. It snuck up on us. I think it was sort of like, oh, we didn't realize how damaging it was. One of my kids can't function without headphones on. She's got the big Beats ones on,
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, they're at 3%. Where can I charge them at? Your home?"
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I
Are
know.
they solar powered? We can charge them outside.
I'll put you outside to work. I promise you, you can get them charged up. Like it's crazy. Like I'm supposed to care about where you're going to charge up your headphone, just your headphones.
Yeah.
And then I've got them doing. I had a kid, so they clear out rooms and all because we're working on floors and they'll clear out rooms. That kid is just carrying one chair. He just picks up one little tiny chair, walking with it out, and he's doing this. That's how he's walking. You know, I've got one who's my favorite. Okay, I hate to call him out like this. Well, they'll never see this. Like I last year had him. He was great. This year he didn't sign up. He already had a job.
Mm.
He didn't sign up for this. Well, we are way more hours and money than what he's doing in his yearly job. And I know he plays travel ball soccer, and so it's spendy. So I know this was good for him. He didn't sign up for it though. And so I was like, I put his name into the person who does all the hiring. I said, did this person, apply? This is who I want. She goes, no, but I'll call him.
Cool.
And he showed up. He just shows up. I'm like, all right. I hope they're paying you because I don't know, but sign here. And he's like, yeah, they called me, asked me if I wanted to come. I was like, oh, yeah. And so I got him. And one of my favorite people on the planet. I just, I'll grab their attention at the beginning of the day. We all sit together because they're all 40 minutes late to everything. Yeah. They don't ever show up on time. They're strict. Like, it's just like when I was at the Hispanic church and I showed up at the end of service. Literally, like the altar call is about to happen. Everybody should show up now. Literally is what happened,
Really?
So they just show up whenever. And then I understand, like, if they have to take a parent, because you have to drive to my location. You can't just walk. A lot of the kids at the high school, they walk there, that work there. A lot of the summer sports and all that, the kids walk there, like all the football and all that.
Yeah, yours is out. Wait,
I'm out. There. Yeah, so they do have to go drive. So I understand if they're dropping a parent off to work or something or doing whatever. So that makes sense. But they'll never say that.
Do they clock in or anything?
They clock in on the sheet. Time is like a basically written time card, so they can write whatever they want to on there because I don't. They're teenagers. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I have worked for them until I don't. And then I'm like, just sit there, don't exist, and I'll come back later. But like I say, he's my favorite. I'll get him wrapped around. I'm like, all right, here's what we're gonna go through today. Here's what I want you guys to do, and I'll just read off the list. Do you have any questions? I have one that has questions about stuff. Other two, all four are staring at their phones while I'm talking to them. All four, okay? We're talking about a 15-year-old little girl who's probably like a straight-A genius student.
And we put the phones in the car.
Absolutely not. 100% absolutely not.
Can't make them do it?
Can't make them do it. No.
Really?
I can't, in case their parents want to get a hold of them. Oh, like, what do they do at school? Well, you're at work, not school.
Like, I'll keep them in my pockets then. Give me your phone.
I ain't touching them. So that was the thing. Teachers were taking kids' phones for a while. And anything happened to it, or a kid claimed anything happened to it, then teacher's now liable. So this cracked screen.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't there when I gave it to you. What'd you do? It's sitting in they had shoe hangers that they would hang on their doors, and they'd tell the kids put your phone on the shoe hangers, and kids found ways around it just by raising a snake kind of a deal. So I won't even touch them. All I'll do is just tell them to go home. And they'll oh yeah, and they'll put it away, and they'll but the thing is, I can't sit there and babysit them, and that's the worst part. The babysit. I will not babysit a teenager. No, you either do the job or you don't, kind of concept. And they're good kids. They're just slaves to that phone, and they don't realize it.
It's new crack.
It is straight. I mean, it's bad.
We have a lot of that in ours because we have mostly adults. We don't really have any teenagers working.
Yeah, you don't have that problem.
We get a lot of young guys. They're like in their 20s who are stuck to it.
We talked about that a while ago.
And one of the funniest ones I saw, a framer, was just I guess he just lost his mind with this kid, and he grabbed his phone and shot it with a nail gun into the wall.
That's awesome.
Shot it.
And the kid was like, God, I want to take a picture of that and post it, but I can't.
So the kid, actually, to the kid's credit, he didn't throw a stink about it or anything because he was probably afraid of dying because they're like, there's 15 grown men here. You want to throw a stink about you being on
You
the
would
phone?
disappear.
Yeah. And now all of them get on their phones at lunchtime. I do.
No problem.
Everybody does.
No problem with that.
But during work, it's just the thing I see all the time is teenagers driving, watching videos while they're driving.
Stop.
It's like I'm like parked next to them. You know, it's dark outside, so everything glows. I'm stopped at a stoplight, and I look over, and there's a teenager, and he's got his phone right there, and he's watching TikTok or whatever he's watching.
And he'll keep scrolling it and stuff.
Yeah. Shoot. And he's just driving like that.
Yeah.
Shoot. I was like, oh. Yeah.
Tesla can't come around fast enough, I guess, for them. Like, that would be... Of course, Tesla would shut down still, too, if it did.
I'm kind of torn about the whole Tesla thing, too. Because they have 3 strikes and you're out, and you can't use the self-driving thing anymore. And it can be so much as, like, you're looking down at the ground too long. Well, if you have a self-driving car, why do I need to stare straight ahead the whole time?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And why the hell are you watching me?
I would be like, excuse me, you're going to turn me off of my car. Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
I pay $100 a month for this.
When you watch all the rich people, or powerful people, mostly political people, who have died in weird situations in Tesla, there was one famous senator, maybe it was, his wife or something. Tesla locks up and rolls into a lake and she drowns.
Yeah.
Can't get out because it's sealed up and locked up.
Yeah.
Like there's like so many things like that. And there's a lot of the ones where the government takes them over, and there's that one guy who actually like brought it to their attention, like, you tried to kill me. They're like, you're not important enough to I don't know what you're talking about. And they just walked away from him. And he's like, he was on Rogan, I think, when he was talking about it.
I haven't heard any of these stories.
A lot of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, we've probably talked about this 50 times just because my brain is having flashes right now and going back and forth. But
a friend of mine bought a Cybertruck, and he bought a used one. And it was from a dealership, though.
I didn't think about that. Okay, yeah, except if you said
going down I-20, and it's in self-driving mode. And it starts doing circles. It turns and doesn't stop turning, and it's in the middle of I-20. There's a 3-lane at this. He's like, luckily there's a 3-lane highway right here. It just starts going in circles, and finally it hits a freaking the concrete barrier thing.
Imagine?
Stops. He goes, well, that sucks. Well, you went and got another one. I was like, you risked it, huh? He goes, what's the chances? He loves it. He loves the truck. He loves self-driving. You know, he's a traveling salesman, so he's just always on the road, and so it works out really good.
I guess so. Yeah. They probably get phenomenal mileage. So
he's trying to find a way to bypass the camera so he can work while it drives.
You know how they're doing that now? They're putting pictures and fake doll heads up where the cameras are, so they have these little things that the guys are like 3D printing a little deal, and they're just attaching a camera to this little, a doll's face or a picture or whatever. There's different ones I've seen. Yeah. People trying to bypass it, and they're using pictures of themselves, and they're just hanging it up where the camera is, so the camera's looking at that. Yeah. And then one guy had one lined up to where it looked really convincing, kind of a deal. I don't know if they were actually working or not, but it was just...
The Sefer is it's got the extra books in the canon it's been in our Bible for a long time. Like, it wasn't until the 1800s that they took these extra books out of our Bible, and there's good reasons for it. But they are, Jasher is one of the books, and it's an oral tradition that was handed down, and the oldest copy is only 300 BC. It's not super old. But, so that's the Sefer. It's just basically a King James Bible with extra books. So, Jasher 2.
Does it have Genesis and Exodus and all that in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So all the books.
Are they in order of how they originally were in that one? Or is it just like both together at the end?
It's how it was originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool.
The crappy thing is when they transcribed it to King James, they left all the names Hebrew and Greek. And
they're hard to decipher.
Oh, yeah. And there's no codex in there that tells you what name means what. And so, literally, if I read a name, I'm like, okay, what is this?
You gotta look it up.
I got Grok. I get on Grok. I'm like, what is this name? And it translates it for me.
Oh, wow.
Now, if you follow it along with Genesis, you'll have it. Because they'll say, he begot so-and-so. And then you're like, okay, he begot Oben Quine. I'm like, okay, well, okay, George.
Good old Henry.
If you follow along with Genesis, you'll get the names. Okay. You just open up your own personal Bible. Because if you follow along Genesis in this book, it's still all in Hebrew.
Okay.
So it's like, and the reason, and there's a reason why they did it. I get kind of the reason. I really don't. I think it's stupid. But so we say God, and we have in the English language we have two different gods. We have an uppercase God and a lowercase God.
Right.
Right. Um, well, in Hebrew, it's Elohim means a spiritual entity. Right. Elohim doesn't mean the sovereign creator of the universe. He is an Elohim, but it's Elohim is universal. So when they want to refer to God, they use his name, Yahweh. Or the Bible uses Elohim of Elohims.
Okay.
So that's why they left it that way. So you can read the difference between a spiritual being and when they're talking about Yahweh.
I see. So, okay.
And also things like the spirits, like Ruach. Ruach is literally means breath, like the breath out of your, well, what they thought was the neck. We would say our lungs,
Yeah.
but they believed it was your
From
neck.
the neck.
And so the Ruach is used for God's Holy Spirit.
Okay.
Well, there's other Ruachs as well. There's other spirits. And so the Sefer leaves those. They have titles. And it's something Ruach or Ruach Kodesh, things like that. There's different names for different spirits. And they are separate from Elohim. So in how you correlate it in our Bible is in the easiest way is Isaiah and Revelations. So in the beginning of Revelations, John's writing, and the angel tells him, write these letters to these spirits. He says, to the spirit of the church of whatever,
Okay.
write this. To the spirit of Philadelphia, write this. And it says that. Well, it also talks about the lampstands. Jesus is surrounded by these lampstands.
Correct.
There's 7 of them.
Yeah.
And there's 7 stars in his hand. And
Yeah.
there's 7 things on the crown. So those are the 7 spirits. You're like, well, what's the 7 spirits? It doesn't
7
name
churches.
yeah, that's in Revelations, but like, what is it? So who are they? What's their names? It just
Those churches still stand today.
I know, but that's not the name of the spirit, though. That's the name of that church. The church is in Philadelphia. The spirit's name's not Philadelphia.
So you're talking about a different. Okay, so you're talking. I thought you were talking about that. Then that part of the scripture.
Well, those spirits are named in Isaiah.
Okay.
You know, and so the Sefer doesn't change it to spirit. It leaves the name.
I see. Okay.
So it's really.
Oh, okay.
It's tough to translate, but it's just you just have to kind of follow.
More work than I would put.
It is, and I wish somebody would get a hold of it and be like, okay, let's Americanize this.
I said I'd rather read Hebrew or memorize Hebrew and learn how to do Hebrew than that.
It's all in Hebrew. All
yeah,
in Hebrew.
That's too much. Go for it.
Anyway, Jasher 2.
Jasher chapter 2.
So Adam is 130 years old, and he has Seth, who is to replace Abel, who was killed by Cain. Seth has a son named Enosh. And so this is the same as Genesis. Genesis has the exact same verbiage. This is not just in Jasher. And Enosh actually means to be mortal, or it means to be weakened. So it means you're not.
All right, Jasher chapter 2.
Yeah. So Adam's 130 years old. He has Seth to replace his son Abel. Seth has a son named Enosh. Enosh means to be mortal, or means to be weakened. So basically, it was kind of like, hey, we can die. If you don't believe it, there's a guy named Abel. He died. But and then around Enosh's time, men began to rebel against God. And they started worshiping Elohims. It doesn't name them, like which ones, but they all chose for themselves whom they wanted. And they started making statues out of them. So they started making out of wood, stone, iron, and brass. And it's like, man, brass didn't even really exist so much back in what we think is 4,000 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But in Enoch, it talks about how they were taught these hidden things with metals and how to get to them.
Correct.
So that's the stuff that leaves out. Like it doesn't explain that because Jasher is an oral tradition, and it's right next to Enoch. Enoch's right before Jasher in the book. So whenever they transcribe Jasher, like, oh, these people have already read Enoch, they're not going to need to know this information. But right. So that would be the information. But anyways, and we probably should have read Enoch first, just because he's halfway in this, and then it's after that's Noah. So, but
we could dabble here and bounce there.
Genesis is very common to people, and this kind of fills in the blanks in Genesis. So I did it first.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes, they started making those idols, and Yahweh gets angry with them. He's like, they're worshiping Elohims and making idols for themselves, and so he floods them with the river Gishon and kills a third of them. And this is before the Noah's flood. This is just in this area where Adam lives in Lamech. Adam and Cain. So Adam and Cain's. Once Cain killed Abel, he split and
he didn't take off on his own. Oh, okay, I was gonna say yeah. Okay, yeah.
And so, and he has a son named Lamech, which is what we're going to get to here later. But on Adam's line, he also has a son eventually, a great grandson named Lamech as well. It's kind of strange. Adam's genealogy, or I should say Seth's genealogy, matches Cain's genealogy as far as names on a lot of their children. They name this. It's like he's trying to copy him or something. It's very strange. But all of Cain's lineage are a bunch of misfits, and Seth's are really blessed.
Yeah,
it's kind of strange.
Well, Cain was cursed, and he followed that curse early.
yes. So what ends up happening is God floods the earth with this river Gishon, and he kills 1/3 of all the humans are alive on it. And he curses the ground and says, he cursed the ground when Adam and Eve left the garden. He says, you're going to have to toil to grow things. Well, he cursed these people that nothing's going to grow.
Nothing's going to grow, yeah.
And that was the curse of Cain, because he was...
That was Cain's curse.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was the more evil they got, the curse says that the earth responds to their corruption. So when they became more corrupt, the earth became more corrupt. It stopped producing. And they had troubles with wild animals and things like that. So it's like the earth responded to their evil.
Okay.
Which I found was very interesting.
That would be something to look into. Yeah.
If you read beginning of Genesis, it says that God didn't create the animals. It says the earth brought them forth.
And brought forth the animals.
Mm-hmm. The earth did. And so there's this theory that the earth will bring up animals it needs in the time and what it's dealing with at that time. So like you'll see, so like when they reintroduced wolves into Yellowstone National Park, the ecosystem completely changed.
Yeah.
The beaver, which was completely extinct in that area, came back. So where did this beaver come from?
Yeah.
Where the deer population went away, vegetation grew.
The polar bears came back.
Yeah.
Made a huge comeback.
Where they come from.
Interesting. So yeah, I always read it as spoken into an existence kind of concept when it said the earth brought that forward.
Yeah, it says that the earth brings forth the animals and all the creeping things.
I'm going to dig that up in my commentary and see what he says. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. So the earth is responding to their evils, basically what this is. And then Enosh has a son named Kenan. This is also in Genesis. And he was super wise, very spiritual, and he was the first to start writing on stone tablets. That's not in Genesis. This is in Jasher, but the guy Kenan is in Genesis. Enosh, his whole family line, all these genealogies are in Genesis.
I don't remember ever saying it the first time. Yeah.
So he actually ends up ruling over the remaining 2/3 of people that are still left alive. He ends up ruling all of them.
Oh, weird.
He's like the first king ever known to man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And according to Jasher. Okay. I'm not saying that's actual fact. I'm saying according to Jasher.
That's interesting.
Well, see, so in his wisdom...
What's over man, though? Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
In his wisdom, he brought back multitudes of men back to Yahweh. And he was like, destroy your idols. This is the way you should go.
Okay.
Because of you and your wicked ways, we can't grow food, blah, 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 blah. And so he was extremely wise.
He became like a high priest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just says he ruled over all the men of the earth. That's all it says. But again, 1/3 of them had just died from that flood, Well, he also collected treasures. And because his tablets were like monumental, like the first of their kind.
I said, what treasures would be there?
And so, men were digging up all kinds of things that they weren't supposed to be.
Okay.
They were taught a whole kinds of things that they weren't supposed to be taught. And so, that happens over a period of like 200 years.
Right.
Before the flood comes, something like that, or 500 years, something like that. So, yes.
So he has to ruin the entire genealogy of man, the entire bloodline of man.
That's right. Exactly. So he brings a lot of people back to Yahweh. When he gets to be about 70 years old, um, the humans started rebelling again. Men started doing their own thing again. And one of the interesting things they started doing is they started taking multiple wives, which was common. You know, Cain had a couple, you know, other people had a couple. But they would take multiple wives and they would have one that they would breed with. And the others, they would make them barren on purpose. They had this thing, I can't remember what it's called. It was called cilia or something like that. They'd make them drink it and become barren.
Can man not ever suck?
So bad. When left to our own devices.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, the reason why they wanted their other wives barren is so they'd stay beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is, I thought, so interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
How vain, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but everybody looks on these barren women with
contempt.
Yes. Yeah. They treat them like they're widows.
Yeah.
Because they'll never give birth. Yeah, it's the husbands that did it because like, yeah, she's gonna stay fine.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, but they'd have a woman that they would breed with, you know, and she would be like the apple of his eye. Oh, yeah, she gives me offspring. You're just there for me to look at.
Right.
So they're treated pretty much like kind of like a prostitute.
It's based on how it would be. Yeah. Wow.
So God gets angry about that, and he's like,
because they're not prosperous.
Yeah,
fruitful.
That's what he says. He's like, I gave you a command to be fruitful and multiply. And you know, I would have to like be a little rebellious myself. Like, you killed a third of us.
Yeah. We're multiplying just fine until you just flooded us.
Yeah. So
that's interesting, though. Yeah. Okay.
So now the story switches to Lamech.
Okay.
Not Seth's line of Lamech, but Cain's line of Lamech, and he's just as evil. So in Genesis, it talks about how Lamech killed a man, and he says if God marked Cain and said if anybody kills him, that person will be cursed. Let anybody who tries to kill me also be cursed. You know, because his birthright is Cain, right? That's in Genesis. It talks about how he's a real evil, nasty man. He's very violent.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
So Lamech has a son called I can't remember what it is in our Bible.
We'll get there.
It's a Tubal-Cain.
Okay.
Yeah, Tubal-Cain is his son's name. So in Hebrew, his name's actually Cain. That's how you say it. It starts with a Q. Cain. So it'd be Tubal-Cain. But yeah, so Cain. And what happens is they are walking in a field together, going back home, and Lamech is older. He's got gray hair, and his vision's not all that great. And his son, Tubal-Cain, is very young. He's like prepubescent. You know, he's like, you know, not a teenager yet. It just says, it just says he's very young. And they see an animal off in the distance, and he says to his father Lamech, "Hey, there's an animal right there." And he kind of tells him where it's at. And he says, "Notch an arrow and let's get it." And so Lamech does. Lamech takes an arrow and shoots a few of them, and hits his target. And when they finally get to the animal, it turns out it's Cain.
Oh, wow.
And he killed his own descendant. Not really descendant. Like, what do you call it when it's the other way around? His grandfather?
Yeah.
Father? Grandma. Anyways.
Maybe grandfather age, right?
So Cain was walking towards them, and Cain could see them, was walking towards them, but they couldn't really see him all that well. And so he throws some arrows at him and kills Cain. And it says that is when God fulfills his curse on Cain, that he should die. He should be killed. That he won't die of old age.
Okay.
One of the curses God gave Cain was that he would be a wandering, restless, never be able to grow anything, and that he would be killed. He wouldn't die peacefully. God was lenient on him on the wandering, and eventually let him settle down and start a city. Cain did. And yes, he did. At the end of it, though, God causes him to leave the city and start wandering again. And then Lamech, his grandson,
probably grandson,
kills him with arrows. Well, when Lamech gets up there and sees that he's killed Cain, he's remembering the curse that Cain
it was on Cain.
Sorry, when he gets up, and he turns and he slaps his son so hard that he dies.
No way.
Yeah, he's so angry. So he just turns and just cracks him. Bam!
So this is where the Samoan line started.
Yeah. Well, he gets to go back to his wives, to his tent, you know, and tells them, "I just killed Cain, and Tubal-Cain,
Wow.
my son. And his wives try to kill him. They're so angry with what he did. They try to kill him, and he ends up escaping. And then they run away. And they run to Adam. And then Adam tells them, you need to go back to your husband. You need to let this go and just go back. So they end up going back to Lamech. And but none of them will bear his children. They said, no, you're done. No more kids for you. And he has no kids by the time he dies.
So his line ends there. Okay.
Yeah. So so and how chapter 2 ends is that the women of that generation on Lamech's side and on Adam's side too, they all begin to hear this prophecy from what's his name? Kenan, the wise one. Kenan prophesied back when Kenan was ruling everybody and writing in tablets, prophesying the flood that Noah was going to go through.
Oh, wow.
He didn't prophesy Noah. He just said, God's going to send a flood. I've had visions of it. God's going to send a flood and wipe out humanity if we don't change our ways.
Oh, wow.
And that's why he's pulling back people to Yahweh. Because he didn't want that to happen. That was like this.
So he delayed it. More or less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the women remembering the prophecy that God's going to come back with a flood and seeing the evil that's abounding again, they refuse to have kids.
Oh, wow.
They don't want to see drought.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the population started dying off real bad. They're just like, yeah, we're not going to have kids. We're not going to bring them into... You're evil. All of you men are evil. And God's going to kill us all. And that's how chapter 2 ends.
Huh.
So
on a light note.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's interesting to see
very interesting.
What people's lives may have been like back then. Again, this is an oral tradition. We don't really have any original copies of any of the books in the Old Testament. All we ever have is copies.
That's true. Yeah, we have copies. Yeah,
but the copies that we have span over 3,000 years and they never change. So that's
right. And like the longest one is like 100 years apart. The rest of them are. I don't even think it's that. I think it's like they're all. Yeah.
But the ones that we have that are found in the Dead Sea Scrolls are 99% of what we have today.
Correct. Yeah.
So we know the accuracy is there. It hasn't been changed. That's one thing I can definitely say without a doubt. Any agnostic or atheist can't say is that the Bible has ever changed. It hasn't.
No, you can't say that. It's
now the authenticity of the Bible. That's a different.
It's a lame story. It's a lame story or a lame excuse for it. It's one of those like they just believe it because they want to. They just walk away from the concept. So there's too much proof of it all.
Yeah, I was fascinated to find out that because that movie The Odyssey's coming out.
Yeah. Right? I only watch the memes. That's probably all I ever get to. I ain't watching the movie.
So Homer has written the Odyssey. There's like one copy.
Yeah.
That's all.
I have that. I might still have the.
We totally believe that this guy Homer lived and wrote the Odyssey, and we have one copy.
We have one copy. I have the little breakdown that the Lake Point had. It shows major books that people follow and how many copies there are and how far apart they are.
Yeah.
And the Bible was the one that was like they just few hundred years, 100 years I think was the most of one version, and it was still spot on to the first one kind of concept, like they're all equal. Yeah. That's interesting. Well,
so yeah, that's Jasher chapter 2.
How many chapters are in Jasher?
There's like 80.
80? Jesus have mercy. Yeah, we're going to combine a few of these.
Anything that's redundant or boring, I'm not going to
let's just kind of combine 5 at a time.
But I thought this was interesting just because it's part of the flood story that we don't get, Jesse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's two floods. Yeah.
Prequel, if you got it.
Yeah, there's 2 flood stories basically in that one.
Yeah, well, the flood of Gishon was just out of anger because of all the idol worship that they were doing.
Correct.
In this one area.
And they never stopped.